name is Ben Henriques, and I'm the saxophone teacher at Vancouver Island University in beautiful Nanaimo, British Columbia. Today I'd like to show you a very simple scale that's very useful for improvising in a minor key, the Melodic Minor Passing Tone Scale. To begin, in jazz theory, we disregard the descending alterations to the melodic minor scale since we consider the descending portion of the scale to be an existing scale that's its own entity, the natural minor scale, also known as the Aeolian or the relative minor. For our purposes, we're only going to consider the ascending pitches for the melodic minor scale. Scales degrees 1, 2, flat 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7, which is essentially a major scale with a lowered third. Here is the F major scale. Now I'm going to play the F melodic minor scale. So it's essentially the major scale with a flat 3 for our purposes. Now, in order to make the scale rhythmically symmetrical, we're going to add a passing tone. We're going to put a passing tone between the 5th and the 6th degree of the scale. So we're going to put a C sharp between the C and the D of our F melodic minor scale. The benefit of having an 8-note scale is we often play in 4/4 time. So if we simply play up and down the scale beginning on a downbeat, every beat will have a chord tone. I will demonstrate this by tonguing every downbeat. Could you hear the F minor 6 chord tones? That's an F minor 6 arpeggio, which is the tonic chord in F minor. Now here's an example of me improvising over a minor chord progression going up and down the scale. I'll only go up and down the scale for this. The scale alone isn't entirely helpful, as going up and down a scale does not make for very compelling melodies. Now I'm going to show you a pattern that can help get away from going up and down the scale. Now if I take the first note of the scale, and the third note, and the fifth note, and the seventh note of the scale, I get that F minor 6 arpeggio that I demonstrated before. That's our tonic arpeggio. The 1 chord, our home key. We're in F minor 6 is home. If I start on the second note and do that same thing, alternating every other note, notes 2, 4, 6, and 8, I'm going to get this arpeggio. This is our diminished arpeggio. This gives us the notes G, B flat, D flat, and E, making our G diminished. Or what it's actually doing in this key, it's implying the dominant chord. Because if I take those same notes, and I place them over C. I'm going to play C down the octave. I'm going to change the order of the notes. This is our C7 flat 9 arpeggio. So if I take out the C, I have an E diminished arpeggio, which is the upper structure of C7 flat 9, giving us our dominant sound, our 5 chord. We have 5 going to 1. Dominant resolving to tonic. Now continuing this pattern from the 3rd scale degree, I get this arpeggio. Sound familiar? It should. It's that same first arpeggio in first inversion. It's an F minor 6 arpeggio beginning on an A flat. Now here's that same pattern going from the 4th scale degree. This is the next inversion of our diminished chord. Before we had G, B flat, D flat, E. Now we have B flat, D flat, E, G. The same 4 notes, but in another inversion. Here's the pattern played through the whole scale. And coming down. Now I'm going to show you another way you can practice that same pattern. It's a little bit smoother. We're going to take that exact pattern and we're going to alternate the direction of every other chord. So I'm going to play the F minor 6 arpeggio ascending. I'm going to play that diminished arpeggio descending. It makes for smoother lines. I'm going to play you the version starting on the tonic chord. I'm going to start on the F minor 6. And so on. Once you get that sound in your ear, try using it to improvise over a minor chord progression. The cool thing about this is we're always alternating dominant and tonic sounds. Dominant being the diminished sound and tonic being the F minor sound. The dominant is the tension, and when we resolve to tonic, it's release, tension release. So after practicing the scale and arpeggio pattern, I can start to take those ideas back to my improvising over F minor. So let me try that. I'm going to improvise using the scales and the arpeggios. Okay, now we're sounding closer to what we're looking for in our improvisations. Now the example I've been demonstrating on is a tune called Bebop by Dizzy Gillespie, which actually has some of this material in the introduction of the tune. If you listen to the second phrase of that intro, the line is an iteration of this pattern that I've been showing you. Here it is a bit slower. Pretty cool, right? This tells me that Charlie Parker and Dizzy Gillespie were familiar with this sound, and they used it in their improvising and composing. Now the last thing I'm going to leave you with is that we don't only play in F minor, we play in every key. So you should practice the scale and pattern in all the keys, but at first prioritize the keys you play more frequently. I hope this helps you with your improvising in minor, and thank you for watching.